What is up, entrepreneurs? Welcome back to the Friday Live Helpcast. Make sure our tunes and whatnot for the stream is going well. Hope you're having a fantabulous day. I hope that you're having a wonderful Friday. This is the week before Christmas, so Merry Christmas to you, whatever holiday it is that you specifically celebrate around this time of the year. For me, it's Christmas, so Merry Christmas. Okay, tidings and good cheer to all of you and whatnot, okay? It's going to be a fantastic day today. I'm already vibing with it. We're going to be talking about content workflows. Hopefully you saw last week's live stream. If you didn't, we'll put an information card up above so you can check that out. And then that's always available for replay. Or if you go to the videos tab on the channel, we went over your camera settings and hashtag all the things and breaking down what it takes when you're doing a specific live stream or video. If you're doing like, doesn't matter. It's going to be the same stuff. And so aperture, shutter speed, lighting, all this audio, all these different things, these components that go into getting the look that you want, making sure the camera settings make sense and all that stuff. We went through all of those things. And obviously, as you know, as the brand is Video Simplified, that's exactly how we do everything here. And so the content workflow stuff is going to be the same. Very, very simple bullet points that we're going to cover, if you will, when it comes to this kind of thing today, because most people struggle with coming up with a content workflow because they feel like they don't have the time. They are spending too much time on the gear, I need this one more thing before I go and I'm able to do, blah, blah, blah. I get it. I understand. However, if you are somebody that is just getting started, if you're somebody that's been creating for a while, if you're somebody with a chronic disease or illness, if all those things, like, you're in the right place, because at some point in my journey, I've met all of those things, and some of those things are still true for me. So if you have a chronic disease, it doesn't matter. I'm somebody that suffers from that, so you're not going to get no sympathy over here, because guess what? There is still a content workflow that you can create for yourself that is just going to be as efficient and good and makes people question, how can you overproduce somebody that's doing this full time? Okay, I've done it time and time again. It is very possible without exhausting yourself. Sometimes you do, though, have to push. There's seasons where you need to strive, and there are seasons where it makes sense to kind of pull back, reevaluate, or whatever. But today I want to dive into just a very simple breakdown that'll work for you no matter where you are in your journey, so that you can build a content workflow system. And I'm going to also cover some of the things that people make a mistake with when it comes to a content workflow system, because they just automatically start, oh, cool, I'm gonna learn how to plan my videos. Wrong. If you're talking like you're gonna plan your videos first, already you've messed up. And I know that may be contradictory to what others teach. It doesn't matter, because what I teach here are things that actually work. So let's dive into saying hello to some of the fam, and we'll dive right in. Way the show is gonna work this week is I'm gonna go through this content because I do wanna maintain the integrity of the replay value for this one. So whether you watch this live on the replay, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. We're gonna say hello to some of the fam. We're diving into content, and then we're gonna go into Q&A right afterwards. It'll be timestamps down below to help you follow along with what's going on. But either way, you'll be well served. And if you wanna leave a comment or you have a question, depending on where you're at in the live stream, you can still post those down below. All right, we got Mr. Camera Junkie in the building. Good to see you, brother. Glad that you are here. We have Miss Finance. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Tommy Lee Zamuda. All I think is like when Doc said it was like Zamuda Vols 1 for like the ZV1. So now that's always stuck in my brain. So if I ever call you the wrong name, it's Doc's fault. But good to see you. Glad that you're here, saying it's Friday. Yay. Kim Bucha in the house. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Greetings to the Glad Gang Guitar Giveaway channel. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Also, let's see here. Let me scroll down. India Delgado, India, America, speaking Spanish in America, is on the show. What? Good to see you, India. Glad that you're here. Let's see here. Who else do we have in the house? Okay, India's saying something. Alrighty. Let's see here. Looks like I joined in on the right day. Lord knows I need help with better planning and execution. Great stuff, Diana, as usual. Amazing content. Thank you so much, India. I appreciate that. I am so pumped to dive into this because this makes the difference for what works and what doesn't. And here's the thing. Your content workflow system is adaptable and it can be changed. There is no one set of something that works. That's why sometimes when it comes to questions that will get asked, people say, well, it depends, because sometimes it really does. But it doesn't matter if you have kids or if you are, again, if you have debilitating disease or whatever's going on, there is a system that you can build that is actually competent, that will actually make sense. I want to make sure this music isn't too loud, so I think we're good there. All right, so let's dive in. Like I said, the first thing is like, if most people think, well, we're obviously going to go into planning. Yes, of course, it makes sense to. But if when you're coming up with a content workflow, your first thing is to say, well, I need to figure out how to plan my videos, you've already messed up, because you cannot accurately plan if you have the first thing wrong. And the first thing when it comes to developing a good, competent content workflow is understanding your time. What time do you have available? If you don't know what time you have available, then you obviously can't properly use it. This is why I said it doesn't matter if you have a debilitating disease, a chronic illness, or whatever it is. If you have the kids, right? People say they have the kids like it is a legit diagnosable disease. Okay, and the way I see some of y'all looking in the grocery stores, it looks like it just might be. So even with the mask, eyes rolling left and right? But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what that is. If you just had a baby, if you are looking to have no more, it don't matter. You have to look at your time though in the right perspective, because if you're looking at your time like it's a nuisance, it's always going to be a nuisance and a problem. It's like most of your creative journey and how you do anything is how you do everything. And so how you look at your time is going to dictate whether or not you honestly can even effectively plan. And how you look at it, I'm saying like the emotion backed by it. If it looks like it's like, man, I don't have that. All I got is 30 minutes a week that I can do. It's like, if all, like every time you say something, it's like, oh man, all I got is, oh, I only have, then you already, the battle is lost before we even got started good. So much of what you do is a mentality and a mindset issue, because the way that you look at situations, I don't care. I'm not saying like the whole fluff, like around, what is it? The positive mental thinking to where it's a point to where it becomes delusional, but like actual tangible stuff. I'm telling you, it works. Like what helped me walk away from my job is now getting, like, these years are adding on now, but it's like when I walked away from my job, the thing that for sure is like, you got to have a right belief system. And the way you look at your time, your perspective is everything, because either you're going to look at your time and you're going to say, what does this make possible? Or you're going to see all the things that you can't do. That alone will dictate how you go into actually planning. That's why I said, if you just jump straight into planning, trying to plan content, you screwed already. You have to look at your time as containers, like buckets, legit buckets. You'll see, like, for example, like kids at the park, or you'll see kids at like a beach or something, and all kids have a different size bucket, but nobody's complaining that his bucket is bigger than mine, or she got a different kind of colored bucket. Nobody's worried about it as long as they got their own and it contains enough for them to be happy. When you're looking at your time, you need to look at it just like that, like the little kid on the beach. It's a container. How much you have dictates what you can do with what you have. And it doesn't matter how much it is. I don't care if it's 15 minutes, because I definitely used to wax my 2 15-minute breaks and lunches. I think lunches at some point maybe got decreased or something like that. Like you go from like an hour and then it goes down to 45 minutes and then goes to 30 minutes or whatever. And then sometimes you get, good supervisors or whatever at your work that will sometimes, or your job that'll like, oh, you can take extra or whatever. Okay. Most of us aren't getting like really, really long lunches. So you figure like it's not enough time. And that's why you see a lot of people eating at the desk. I was one of those people. I'd rather eat early at the desk while I'm still on the clock because we could. So I can take that full time to do with what I want. I'm looking at this full container. So I'm not rushing. I'm not dealing with traffic. Like how you manage that time is everything. So when it comes to your content workflow, that container is going to decide what it's going to contain. So when we go into the next step, which is actually planning, planning's broken down into 3 groups of time is how I like to look at it. You have your planning time, you have your execution time, and you have your analyzation time. I'm gonna say it again. Your time for the container that you have is broken down into 3 types of times. It's your planning time, your execution time, and your analyzation time. So let's go into that first subset of time, which is the planning time. If I know I have 15 solid minutes, that is not enough time for me to make a video. It's enough time for me to make like a dedicated true YouTube video or something like that. It's enough for me to maybe sit down and record a TikTok reel if I already knew what I wanted to talk about. It's enough time for me to, record some stories if I already knew what it is that I wanted to talk about. But most of you are making the mistake with taking planning and execution time and you're grouping that together. It don't roll like that. If I know I only have 2 hours in every week to where I can dedicate to a new YouTube channel or an existing one or whatever, and I'm sitting down in those 2 hours and I'm frustrated because I'm like, I need to plan this, research this, and like figure out time to record it. And then next week I'm gonna take those 2 hours and I'm gonna edit. You're screwing up. You are screwing up already. You have micro moments of time that you're not properly leveraging. You have like this Apple Watch. One of the main things that I have on my quick buttons on there is for the voice recorder. So when I will be driving, even like on my phone, that's another one. I have it on there so I can capture my ideas. Most of you have great ideas that honestly probably could help you push your channel off into a new space. You're losing these ideas because you're not capturing them. So leverage the tools around you. Some of y'all, if I said, hey, Alexa, some of y'all houses is chimed off. If I say, hey, Google, some of y'all houses just chimed off. If I say, hey, Siri, some of y'all houses is chiming off. But like mine is going now. What would you like to know? Mind your business. I'm doing something. Okay. But if you have one of those commandable options in your house, you can say, add a note, start the voice recorder, take a note, start a memo, or create a shortcut so that it does that for you. So when you're looking into your planning time, that includes the capturing the ideas and stuff too. Because obviously that's probably all the time when you're in the bathroom, you're in the shower. And that's why having that stuff active like that is helpful to capture. So you can go back to it. If you're using Google Notes or Apple Notes, those are synonymously synced across any device. So it don't matter if I'm on my phone and you're on the toilet, by the time you come back in your office, you can pick up where you left back off at in your computer. That's how those work. If you're not leveraging Google Notes or Apple Notes, you need to. I use both. Both are great. And I love it just for that synonymous synchronization between the two. So your planning time is not in the planning the content like schedule a live stream. We ain't there yet. What kind of content do we have is going to be based on how much actual time we have in the container. So look at the time that you have. Let's say we're rolling with 2 hours, and that's what we can do per week. We can commit 2 solid hours per week to this thing. I don't care if it's, 15, 20 minute increments broken up or if it's one solid block. But that is where you want to explore those ideas. And so you can have a Google Doc sheet. You can use Asana, Trello. I don't care what you use. And honestly, most of y'all also get caught up in the weeds when it comes to that stuff too. Well, what you using? I'm going to use that. What you using? I'm going to use that. Well, this person was using that. And this, all it takes is for Casey Neistat, Cody Warner. I love to watch Cody Warner. Whatever they use, even if you got something that's working for you, you're going to look sideways at it and you get distracted. Stop getting distracted with the silly stuff. It's one thing I can obviously say. You're getting distracted with the silly things. Well, I don't know if this is working. You haven't even watched any tutorials on it, on how to use it effectively. So how can you complain about it? You know what I'm saying? So pick something. It don't matter what it is. It could be Notion. It could be Apple Notes. I just use Apple Notes at this point. That, and then my team and stuff like that, we use Asana. And I was trying out Monday.com for just capturing, and so I can log that stuff, and that works well. But whatever it does, for you, use something. Click up. I don't care. Pick something. Just literally pick something and use it. But don't get lost. Well, I got to learn how to use it, because that too many learning curves equal a circle. Like we need to, after about 3 things, we need to be in the full revolution. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like one whole revolution. 3 learning curves max. Too many learning curves equal a circle. So in your planning time, based on how much time that you have, let's say we're exploring of all the ideas that we capture for the week. We're taking 30 minutes of dedicated focused time and set a timer. Put your phone down, close, turn off alerts, all this extra other stuff, and pay attention to what you're doing for a good solid 30 minutes. You can do it for your work. Why can't you do it for you? So do that for you for a good solid 30 minutes and see which ones are going to be ones that you want to speak to. I used to pick off of what I was most passionate about to talk about versus those that may be requiring more work. I do have what I teach, which is called a content quadrant. I'm not going to dive into that today because I just want to give you like high level overview stuff that you can execute on today. But you want to look at, I used to pick what are the things that I'm most excited to talk about, because those are things that are top of mind. I'm not going to feel bad because I'm talking about something that I'm less passionate about talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't know, ND filters. I'm not passionate about ND filters. They're a function of like if I need them occasionally. I'm not like lushing over it, but I do love to talk about cameras and lenses and microphones and software tools. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, did you know you could do this? The whole 9 mile. If you got one of those, pick that. Because if you pick anything else, you're going to feel frustrated because you really want to talk about the other thing. Pick the thing that you're most excited to talk about because that is where the energy is flowing. So let's just get that one off. Let's get that one off the plate. So now you know what you want to do. Now we can start planning the research that goes behind the content. Let's go. What are some things that people are doing? What are some of the existing thumbnails that are out there? What are some different things that people are saying in the comments? All the things that go into different elements of the research. Not going to get into research today because that's a whole training in and of itself. So the research part of your videos, research. All right. Because now this gets into that second area of the time. Again, I said it was planning time, it's execution time, and it's analyzation time. So you just finished talking about planning. Now you're at the part to where you're ready to execute because you're picking things that you're most interested in talking about. You're most excited about it. We'll have to make sure the energy is there. We don't have to like, okay, like I got to get ready and then like you don't have to do all this stuff. You're already excited to talk about it. So it cancels a lot of the unnecessary stuff out of the way because you're already excited to get this one off, right? So now we're in the execution part of it. How you record your videos is everything of how you're able to edit it or even send it off to an editor. One of the questions I ask when I'm doing interviews, so like yesterday and today I'm doing interviews for new editors, video editors for the team. Okay, one of the questions that I'll ask them is what is something that annoys the hell out of you that a previous or even current client does that you wish that they wouldn't do? So it would make your job easier. And they'd be like, oh man, they'd be ready to talk. That's one question that they for sure have no problem ever answering. Like I wish they would stop doing because your editors can help you with your content if you have one, or you probably have in your circles editors that could help you. Just ask them for help. What do you think about this? Or blah, blah, blah. Or pay them for their time. Can you take a look at this? Most people offer consulting for 20, 30, 50 minutes, whatever. Most people offer some level of consulting. Ask them to take a look. I'm gonna tell y'all what don't get looked at. The DMs and the Instagram things. I can tell you for me personally, you say, hey, can you take a look at my channel? Nope. Unless I'm specifically offering to do channel reviews, I never look. I'm not looking. I don't have time for that. I sincerely don't have time for it. I empathize with you, but I don't have time for that. I have to effectively manage my time. And even the time that I decide that is going to be rest, like for rest or for whatever, it's uninterruptible. Most of y'all's problems with your time containers, you have the time, but you allow things or people or situations to interrupt that. When I would get home from work, because I knew what containers I was working with, and this also meant knowing my energy levels and stuff, I'm not talking to nobody until 6 p.m. I got off work at like 3 something. So by the time I get home, like I got a couple hours. Yeah, I could have a conversation, but no, that's my downtime. Like, I know exactly what I need for me to operate best. That meant calls from anybody weren't answering. They weren't getting answered. If your time is interruptible, then you can't be mad that people are wasting your time. If you allow things to interject themselves into your time, it's like, I'm sorry, this may come off a little bit harsh, but some of y'all have family members or people around you and everything is an emergency. When most of the time, it's really not an emergency, it's a personal problem. If you didn't answer that call, and I'm not saying like true emergencies, and I think that a word emergency gets abused because of that. When somebody says something is an emergency to me, I take it seriously. That gets my attention. When you have a history of showing that like everything is an emergency, nothing becomes an emergency. You get on my less access list. Everybody starts off with 100% access. And then it's like, if your actions get you less and less access until you don't have to be in the equation no more. Some of y'all allow people to waste your times and then you're mad because they wasted your time. You allowed it. So when it comes to execution time, after you've done the planning time and now it's time to execute, stop letting your time be interruptible. Talk about the things that you're most excited about. And some of y'all are trying to read off of teleprompters to do things, because learn how to effectively use a teleprompter if you're going to. I personally decided not to because I wanted to learn how to actually present content. Like, I can tell you exactly what I'm looking at. These are my notes today. That's it. These are my bullet points. These are the things that I want to cover. Why? Because I already know my stuff. I don't need to sit and research and dialogue and all this. I know the content. I just need to know the bullet points that I want to cover to make sure I can restate them exactly. So when my assistant comes back through to do timestamps for me, which I'm grateful for, it also is helpful for her. So most of y'all trying to do teleprompter stuff, you probably know your material. And because you have it in your mind that it has to be perfect, anything less than exactly as you wrote it in the most perfected way on paper is never good enough when you actually execute on it. So sometimes that can hold you back because it's just up here, a little tweaking up there. It's fine if you want to learn to use a teleprompter. Some people do work better that way. That's fine. Just learn to effectively use them. That's all. But some of y'all, some things don't require like you to have to use a teleprompter for reading. I'm not saying like for those of you that want to monitor your shot through. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying like, you're like, yeah. And then if you want to do a planning phase, then make sure you do, like, you're looking weird. You feel like the what you said was right, but it feels weird. It looks weird too. It looks weird too. I can tell you for coaching calls, and I'm like, you're reading the teleprompter. How did you know? It looks like it. It looks like it. You don't need that. You talking to me just fine about it. I asked one question. You're like, yeah. So what you got to do is with the Pythagorean theorem, and when you do the centrifugal force, when it comes around, and you get all into the details. You don't need no script. Now, what you do need is learn to stay on the point, and like your audience will train you. So learn to present with them in mind. Most people will, when it comes to like the execution part of the content, like the sitting down to record the stuff, what they'll do is they'll sit with a picture of somebody that they know that's familiar to them. And I get that. I used to do that too when I was first doing videos. And that's cool. But the problem with them is that like the who you put up is that your family member ain't gonna tell you. Well, some of them will. I take that back, because like aunties, mamas, everybody be like, you talking too much. You're doing too much. You need to get somewhere and sit down. Like, they will tell you. You can get the right one. However, what I would encourage you to do is, even if you have a picture of somebody or something to help make it easier for you to communicate as yourself on camera, have in mind when it comes to the communication side of things, have in mind your target audience. Speak for them. So like last week, I have no notes for last week. I know exactly how I want to do stuff based on how I actually do things. So I didn't need any kind of script, didn't need bullet points or whatever. I know exactly how I want to go, because that's how I always teach it. So knowing that you know your stuff, have in mind who you're communicating to. This also helps to save time with re-recording segments of stuff, because you don't have to be on some roll where it's just blah, 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 and it's all perfect in a 30-minute segment. Speak in statements. So if I'm doing a piece and I say, I don't know, I'm going to talk about what's on the desk. I'm talking about the A6600. And let's say I'm going to talk about sensor sizes. I'm going to describe it the same way I always do. And be like this. Start off my smile and hope. Okay. And then it's like, okay, if I don't get it, then I'm just like, okay, I'm stop. And I'll do that a lot. And it's be like, already. That I do a lot. So it's like, okay, I'm looking at the camera and I'm talking about sensor sizes. What do I want to say? I have that in mind. Maybe I got a bullet point, whatever. It's like, okay. If you want to know how you are especially supposed to be like, oh no, I don't like how I said that. I shouldn't have said especially. I'm just going to cut. I'm just going to stop right there. Because I want to make sure I'm going to say it right. Cool. It's fine if it takes you a couple times, but if you kind of have like the example in your mind, if you have it written down, cool. But if you want to talk about it, it's like, okay, I want to teach you about how sensor sizes work. You have micro 4/3. It's like a small if you're thinking about drive-through. And then you have a medium that's an APS-C sensor size, which is like your Sony A6600s, your Canon M50, Mark IIs, or whatever it is that you want to use. And then you have your full frame camera. So like that brand new Sony A7 IV camera that just came out, or even the Sony A7S Mark III camera. So if you think about it like French fries, you have small, medium, and large. And medium, I think, is the best way to get started when it comes to APS-C sensor sizes. And the smile and hold, and then I'm done. I don't need a script. I don't need to do whatever. All I do is make sure I have the energy for what I want to talk about. I'm obviously talking about things that I'm excited about or that I have an interest around. It's easy to pop off content like that, but in segments. So your workflow becomes easier because you're making it easier for you to edit, even if you're brand new and you know nothing about nothing. Recording in segments makes it easier, because if you run in and you just feel like you just own the ball, how easy is it for somebody that is the target audience to actually consume that? So when you're recording in your segments, like little blocks, do it like that. Smile and hold. I talked about this in a video on video editing. That's already on the channel. But it's like the smile and hold method helps you when it comes to everything, because everything and how you record helps you with how you edit, helps you with faster editing times, even if you're brand new. So you can actually sit, record the content, say what you're going to say, take it into editing, but save yourself a lot of hell trying to cut in between a word or a breath and smush something else together with it. So the smile and hold method is this. When I first get ready to do something, I'm going to smile and hold that smile for about a good 2 or 3 seconds. And then I'm going to start talking. I don't want to be looking up and starting to talk like here, because at that point, when you're cutting, you don't leave any space in the in-between. Or a lot of you make the mistake when you're done saying something, you be like, so if you're going to do full frame lenses, then that's what you want to do. And your head goes down. Okay, we need to see that head going down if we're going to have the audio. And most of you don't know how to do like J and L cuts in editing. So it's really no way to make that make sense. So you see like, y'all, crap, I got to leave that whole part on there. Or you feel like it's not, the whole piece is crap because that piece is in there. That little bit is in there where you kind of messed up. So the smile and hold method, which I'm going to smile, hold that smile for about 2 to 3 seconds, say what I'm going to say. And at the end of it, I'm going to smile and hold that smile for another 2 to 3 seconds. That way, when you add transitions, because transitions eat up time in the editing, in the timeline, I now have those 2 gaps of time on the front and the back end. It saves me time in editing. So far you have your planning time, you have your execution time. The third part of this is going to be your analyzation time. So executing is all the way going through the recording, editing, uploading, all the things that go into that. Again, I'm not getting into the whole YouTube sphere of things when it comes to that side of stuff. But when it comes to the execution time, it's like you're good. Now we need to, we analyze. That means going through and looking at your analytics. We did a whole breakdown. We did a live stream before talking about analytics. That is on the channel as well. You can check out the previous live stream. It was only maybe like 2 or so weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We went into like YouTube analytics. There's a really good video on the channel talking about how to build your audience retention times, how to like keep people watching for longer and longer periods of times. The only goal that you honestly really need to have is to keep beating your last best. Keep beating your last best and looking into what made this work. learning how to analyze your content versus like, well, what's a good number, what you're supposed to go to? If I say hit about 65 to 70% of the people that clicked on the video actually get to the end, you'll look at your stuff and say, oh, hell, I'm at 5, 8, 10% by the time people get to the end of the video. It's like, what's the point? I ain't never going to be able to do it. Again, like I said earlier, your mindset and perspective is everything on how you do this, right? Let's take a little bit of a breather. I know it's a lot, and we'll get back into the analyzation of stuff. Let's go into some comments really quickly for what y'all are speaking to. And there's some loud plane flying above. All right. So, Sam, my YouTube analytics report. Hold on, wait. Let me go back up because I think I missed it. Yeah. Hashtag the kids, the children's. And my guitar center giveaway, channel giveaway. Wait. Guitar giveaway channel. How am I missing that? So my YouTube analytics report says I got 38.9 thousand watch time for last week. Is that a positive statistic with only a terrible webcam 720p? Well, here's the thing. What has been the norm on your channel? Again, all you need to look for when it comes to your analytics and stuff like that, am I doing better with this last or recent pieces of content than I have done before? Now let's look into why that's happening. For me to say, if I said, oh man, if your watch time is only 39,000, oh yeah, that's terrible. You need to really get up to, what difference do it make? I don't know where you are in your journey. I don't know what you're doing. So take that into an account when it comes to your stuff. Your watch time just needs to be trending upwards. Now you can probably do some things to increase that some more, but if it's good compared to where the stuff that you've been doing, then it's good. Don't matter what you're creating with. Some people creating with an iPhone 6, so kind of don't matter. So 720p webcam don't matter. Matters not. What is going on in Prairie Life? Good to see you. Glad that you're here. And that's right. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. Saying I ordered the Logitech StreamCam 1080p 60 FPS with 2 different camera tripod angles. Okie doke. Saying I'm going to have 2 different camera angles. Okay. Sweet. Saying I got a budget. On a budget, can't afford AC fund. No worries. Live production tips and tools. Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Let's see here. Saying 30-minute blocks. Time blocks. 100%. You can always do it. Set time boundaries. Yes. Sounds like you're thinking about the viewer's experience. Oh, y'all talking. All right. Saying very helpful time management tips. Yes. And that's the thing. Regular like time management tips and stuff, like generic, and I get where you're coming from with it. Regular time management stuff of like the how to do whatever, like I get it. Life stuff and content creation stuff is kind of different, right? So it's like you'll see stuff on anything. You see like Wayne Dwyer and just a bunch of people, old school stuff, Zig Ziglar, talking about like time management, and I get that. But at the same time, like content creation, time management, and all that stuff is a whole other thing. So like that's why I'm like, just look at what time do you have to dedicate to it overall. Like you can manage the rest of your life how you want to, but when you look at that time block, that content time is going to be different versus like, you know what I'm saying, how to, I don't know, meal prep for the whole family or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So saying that happened to me. I always want everything perfect. Andy, I can tell you there's no such thing as perfection. Perfection is honestly, truly an illusion. And a lot of people like don't like when I say that. And I'm okay for those that don't like it because it's still true. So perfection is simply an illusion. And most of the time, the ideal of perfection is simply an illusion that you've created in your mind so you don't ever have to be finished. This is something that gets said around in the film production space, that most movies aren't finished. They are just simply released. They're never actually done. Like they would never truly want to be done with the piece. It just gets released. At some point, they got to stop. So perfection, honestly, when it boils down to it, is just really just either I'm afraid or I don't ever want to be done with this. So then I can always have a legit excuse that it's not right. Right. And this is also why I'm glad you brought this up. Perfection and perfectionism and all those people that say, oh, I'm just a perfectionist. No, you're not. No, you're not. Ain't nothing you ever done was perfect. It may be as close to right as you wanted to get it. And I don't mean producing bad quality or any of that stuff, but it's like there's nothing that you've ever done that was actually legit perfect. It was great, fantastic, and it exceeded expectations maybe. There's no such thing as perfect. Not one thing. Nothing is perfect. So striving for it is just an illusion. Saying time management, I could do better. So I have to acknowledge that I'm letting the interruptions in. Not that they're happening to me, but I'm letting them happen to me. Yep. That's the thing. When it comes to your time, what time is interruptible? Because my personal time, even if I'm doing nothing, I don't care. Like, so again, if y'all follow me on Twitter and stuff, I've been talking about ER and just like, even in regular conversations, like the old school show from like 95 or something. Okay. When I'm sitting and watching TV, that time is not interruptible by nobody. I'm not doing work. There's no such thing as an emergency for most things. It's you want me to do it, but it's not truly an emergency. And most of y'all adopt other people's problems as your own personal problems. Stop. Like, stop. Somebody else's problem sometimes is their problem. And you're not really helping them by constantly solving their problems for them. You're just being the go-to person so they don't have to ever deal with stuff. But then you mad, you get frustrated because you're like, man, my cousin keep calling me, my sister keep calling me. He wasted my time. You let him. How you mad? You let him. Oh, I'm good to see you, Santa. Hi, big fan here from India. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. So the only thing I learned this week is how to add YouTube channel moderators. Okie dokie. Saying you're very talented. Thank you. Alrighty. The smile and hold. 100%. What's going on, Migs? Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying I didn't know you also did the smile and hold at the end. Great stuff. Yes. So the smile and hold method that I was talking about, it is basically 2 buffers at the beginning and the end of your content, so that in the meat of your content, it's always safe. It basically creates a safe zone for your stuff. If you're only doing a smile and hold at the beginning, that's cool. You got to transition for it to come in on the front end. But at the end, you're not leaving yourself any space. And a lot of people, if they're new to doing videos, they'll sit and they'll look and they're like, okay, I'm going to say this, and be like, okay. And that's all that you need to do if you're going to do this. And they look down. Your voice inflections come down. It sounds weird. You see it and then you like, crap, I didn't mean to do it. But this is also why editing your own videos up front and first, before you ever get into hiring an editor, and I'm not saying get to be a professional editor, but I am saying get to know your quirks with your content so you know to fix them before you hire an editor. So then you're not mad at them because they take too long. It's like, no, it takes a long time to edit your stuff. It's like they're not taking too long. It takes a long time to get through the fluff of the things that you've made. Like, it's hard out here in these streets. Saying the smile and hold is my middle name. I heard that. Alrighty. Let's see here. I have my first consultation in 10 minutes. Have a great day, everyone. All right. Good luck. Good to see you. Glad that you were here. Great advice. Soul food cooking. All right. So saying figure out your baselines and set goals from there. Beat your best. Yes. Yeah. Why is the Wheel of Wonder music on? And I just like heard it out the side of my, like, I'm like, that don't quite sound right. Let's fix the, some of y'all tripping already. Like, Wheel of Wonder. Yeah. No Wheel of Wonder today. Sorry. No Wheel of Wonder. Alrighty. We got this sorted out. Let me move that song out the way. Alrighty. Let's see here. Saying thanks for sharing awesome content. My pleasure. Saying question. I love the video you did breaking down Kevin Samuel's setup. Are you making more videos like it? Yes. So I'm looking at a couple other creators. I mean, obviously, if you want to see one, you can put it in the chat or whatever, because I'm about to wrap up the content portion so we can dive into Q&A. So if y'all have questions, put a Q like he has here, and then a colon, and then I'll jump into it. So yeah, I am looking to do other breakdowns for other people, because honestly, it kind of like the person doesn't matter. Like even the guy, it's like, I don't know who the hell he was. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, you talking about some stuff, don't you? You got all kind of stuff going on. I'm like, okay. Either way, your framework though of the how he does the show is still a good outline. So yeah, if y'all want to see some more of those live stream breakdowns, that's what I'm looking to do, a couple more of those. And I do have a couple people in mind already, but if you have somebody specifically, like this guy, again, nobody I never would have picked because he don't ever come up in my conversations or circles and stuff. So, but yeah, if you have somebody in mind, let me know. Alrighty, so I'm gonna keep diving in. We're almost done. So time blocks are good. Time containers are better. Now you've done your planning time, your execution time, and now it's time to analyze, which means looking at your analytics, learning to analyze what worked and what didn't. In that video that I talked about, where we're going through and we're looking at that audience retention graph, you see spikes up, spikes down, it goes straight down, or it may be kind of straight and then tapers off at the end. At some point, you're always going to be losing people because they get other alerts, they get a phone call in the middle, they forget to pick up watching where they left off at, whatever. Like, it's a ton of things that come into play at that point as to the why they're not, like finishing the video. I know it's a lot of times it's like, I didn't even finish that video from earlier because a call came in and I actually wanted to take, or I had to stop, go do something else, work, and maybe forgot to watch it. And it's like, I don't know, it could be a week or a month later. And it's like, oh crap, this video did come back up again, whatever. Analyze your content to see what are things that are within your control that you could actually change. Because sometimes you want to change things that are not within your control. There's no secret sauce as far as tricking people into making stuff like, what I'm saying? I would essentially say most people think what they're going to talk about is boring, yet and still you're interested in it and there's other people interested in it, right? Or you think you yourself are boring or the way that you're going to do it is boring, right? However, not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. And the thing that keeps people's interest is literally whatever it is that you said the video topic was going to be around. So stop trying maybe some of these very, 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 very early adopted versions of YouTube stuff that maybe used to work a long time ago and just don't work anymore, because you really need to understand you're really dealing with real people. I see channel names, but it's a real person. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a real account. It's a real person that's complaining about something or having an issue with something. Somebody made a comment earlier today and was like, I think it was the ZVE10 video, the optimizing it for video. And it was like the ZV1 video was better. It was like we went way more in depth. Well, that video is shorter and it's essentially the same thing. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking it's the same thing. The process is the same, but I want to know, what are you thinking about this? Like, where is it that you feel was amiss? Because that may turn into a video. And it's like, this comment came up by such and such. So it made me go look. So sometimes learning to pay attention to the silent minorities versus the loud, I said it backwards. Sometimes it's paying attention to the silent majorities versus the loud minorities. Sometimes you'll get 2, maybe 3 people commenting about something, and you figure, oh man, 3 people said the same thing. It must be true. According to whom? Because all 3 of them could have been people that don't need to be on your channel to begin with. And you're analyzing things that people are saying just because they said something and nobody else didn't. Whereas most of the people may be fine with it, but those 3 people are just jerks. So the silent majority is like, they're not commenting, but the majority of people are actually watching, consuming, and liking your content. If you do something like this, let's use that as an example. You make a video, let's say it's a 3-minute video. 80% of the people that are clicking on this video, obviously out of the 100, 80% of them are getting to the end. You put 1 card to say, and now we're going to go to video number 2. And if you like this video, you'll love this one because we dive more into X, Y, and Z things. Click on the video on the screen. And most of those people are clicking on that actual card that you put up there. You know that that's working. But the 3 people that commented that were jerks or that were whatever, you know what I'm saying? Just like, I didn't like the tie you wore. I didn't like your shirt. I don't like your hair like that. It's like, you shouldn't drink coffee. You should drink tea and whatever. Something, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. You're getting distracted paying attention to a loud minority instead of the silent majority. So what are the actual analytics saying? I want to do more videos around YouTube analytics and YouTube specific stuff, especially as we get into the first quarter of the year. It's already in the cards for it, but pay attention to what your people are actually saying. Sometimes when you're new, because you're not getting a lot of comments, you feel like your content isn't working. Comments are earned. Subscribers are earned. Watch time is earned. All that stuff is earned. Nobody's going to give you anything. It's earned. So when you actually start getting comments, learn to honor those by replying to them or whatever. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? Like, ignore the jerks, go back and forth with them. I don't care what you do, but like, learn to actually honor comments that you get that are, like they're your people. So for example, the person that said the statement or whatever about the ZVE10 versus ZV1 or whatever, I'm not mad at it, but it's like, okay, this person may be that person that's saying something that other people are feeling the same way, and it's something I'm just not paying attention to. That right there is like somebody that's actually saying something may be worth investigating, but sometimes y'all just act on exactly what that person says instead of actually investigating that. So early on, when I was doing videos, you're in the analyzation phase of your time. So take dedicated time to analyze your content and what is actually happening. I had a guy that was like, I'm on probably, like at this point, like I'm just getting started. I know I'm for sure under probably like 100 or 200 subscribers or something. And the guy says like I got several comments. One, that the audio was too low. The other thing that I got was that people were saying, like this one guy in like specific, it comes to mind. He said something to the point that like, at first I was offended because it was like, came off a little harsh, but he was right. He was right. And essentially it was like one of the comments that made me start adjusting how I actually created content, because I'm like, you know what? I'm doing things that I think are going to make people keep watching. Why don't I just get to the point? You see the title, like that's where the whole thing of social behaviors became something that I teach on now, but I started studying way back then. What do? I have a problem. I want to deal with that now. And I go put that into YouTube search or Google. It kicks out a result. I'm looking for what attracts my visual interest, that looks like they know what the heck, that like they know what my problem is, like in this issue that I'm searching for. And so I'm looking at the title to see for relevancy. I'm not reading descriptions at that point because I'm looking for the visual cues. So by the time they get to the video, you ain't tricking them to watch to 2 to 3 minutes and then you gonna get into the point for 3 minutes. I was so mad. It was something that I wanted to know how to do recently. And the search for this was ridiculous. I don't even remember what the phrase was. I didn't blot it out my mind. I've been so scarred. I finally get to a lady's, of all things, Facebook. I started going searching Facebook. I was desperate. And this lady's thing comes up. Like she got the answer. It's like a 2-minute thing of the thumbnail from YouTube with music. What the hell you post this for? This ain't the answer. And it's like, go to my YouTube channel and go watch the video. Okay, because you could have just shared the link here, but whatever, this is dumb. And now I go to the YouTube video and it is legit. Out of a 6-minute video, it's 3 minutes before she starts talking about anything that's got anything to do with it. And it literally is at the end of the video. Y'all are not psyching people to watch your content. They are going to skip through the video or just decide to skip you. You're not fooling people. They're either going to keep clicking and skip through the content, or they just going to skip you altogether. So your audience will train you and teach you on what they want and how they want things. And also look at your actual social behavior on a platform in your space or where you were at when you were searching for what you're looking for. Get to the gosh darn point. Most of the time for most people's videos, I go through a lot of consultation calls and things. People have this problem like you would not believe. Get to the point. Like immediately in the video, get to the point. We talked about that in the watch time training that we did on the channel. Like for the video, watch it, please. It'll serve you well. But when you're looking to analyze your content, after you've made some good stuff, let's say you got a good solid 30 videos, Analyze your stuff. I'm not telling you to judge you harshly, but let's actually look at the data and what are your people saying. So sometimes it's learning to listen to the loud minority. No, it's not loud. Listen to the loud minority. It's ignoring the loud minority and learning to listen to the silent minority that you can find through your analytics. Okay. Last point here, efficiency systems. Once you do everything else, it's always about efficiency. How can I refine my time or refine my process to be better? You've recorded enough content pieces probably to look at what you're doing and start being more efficient with what you're actually doing. You can find a way to be more efficient. It's always there. So it could be in your editing. And if it's the editing that's taking longer time frames than you want, maybe it's keyboard shortcuts that you need to. It's a video on the channel on that. Maybe it's recording better. It's a video on the channel about that. Maybe it's you've made it too complex. You trying to copy what somebody else is doing and what you see other people doing in their videos and you ain't there yet. Don't make 10-minute videos if you've never made a video before. Make 2 and 3 minute videos if you've never made a video before. Then start to, as you build up the catalog of content that you have, then make stuff longer. If you've never edited videos before, do not ever submit yourself to a 10-minute video, because if you got 20 and 30 minutes worth of content, that means you got to cut about 20 minutes out to get down to the actual root 10 minutes. And sometimes it may be you forget if like I used to have this problem, maybe refine how I was doing things. If I'm batch recording content once a month, I'm not good at batch recording content at the time. And I'm like, by the time I come back around to it 2 weeks later to actually edit, I forgot all the things that I did in it. So I literally have to watch this video beginning to end. I said, this ain't working for me because it's taking me hellas to edit a video because I forget where the mistakes are, or I think I'm editing and it's good. And right at the end, I mess up. And it's so much wrong with it that I'm just like, man, I'm spinning my wheels here, burning my own time. So what I started doing was, if I'm going to start recording videos, same day I'm going to I have in my time set aside a container for editing. I have a time container set aside just for editing, so I can go ahead and edit out those ums and whatnot, so whatever, because it's top of mind. I remembered. I know exactly where it is because I just did it. But if you're waiting a month or whatever, then it's not helping. And sometimes batch recording ain't helping you neither. You cannot batch record content if you're not good at recording content already. Just do one video. It sounds good on YouTube. Don't batch record content if you're not good at doing one video. Perfect the one video in a sense of get really good at doing it, that your numbers of executions of doing it are repeatable. When a process becomes repeatable, at that point it's duplicatable. Now you have something that's worth duplicating. Most of y'all are trying to batch record stuff, and the first time around, what ain't a process that's worth duplicating. So be careful of that. That's a good way to waste your own time. So like I said, the efficiencies are there. It's just finding like, where am I like not liking what's happening with it all and like getting frustrated. And I'd be curious to know where that is for you, and just look at where can I be more efficient with that. It's always a way. It's always a way. It literally is. It's always a way to make things more efficient. All right, let's wrap up these comments here. All right. Perfection is an illusion. 100%. What's up, Terry J Studios? Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Hi, Diana. So glad I made it to another live. 100%. Wheel of Wonder. Oh no. See, I knew somebody was gonna catch it. I like the Lapeef network. Who? Lapeef network. Is that food or weed? Which one is it? Who is that? Lapeef. Boy, okay, I gotta search it. Lapeef. How you even spell that? Peef network. And watch it be something probably uber professional. I don't know. Let's see who this is. You got me curious now. Lapeef. Let me make sure that this is right. And you tell me if this is Lapeef. Interesting name. Interesting name. Is this the person? I'm guessing Lapeef. Just sounds weird. I'm thinking so because they come up in search for that name. Well, I'll take a look at them. Very interesting. I just can't get over Lapif. All right, we'll take a look at Lapif and see how that works out. Saying came late, but I'm definitely going to catch the replay. You are building a community full of professionals here, 100%. Saying also, I think I did Vlogmas wrong. I'm creating daily content, but I'm not seeing other people's daily content. Depends on what you mean by that and if they're actually participating in Vlogmas. So like for me, I'm not participating in Vlogmas this year personally. It's like if I'm vlogging on my vlog channel, it's just because I'm vlogging over there, but I'm not doing Vlogmas. Time ain't there. We got other stuff to focus on. Plus I gotta get ready to go back out of town again. So preparing talks, I ain't got time for that. So it depends on what you're doing. And if you mean like specifically like an eCam in the community or the what, and again, who's participating, and then find those probably in the groups, the threads for that, and take a look. So yeah, it just depends. What's going on, Devin Chambers? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Alrighty, what is going on, Miss Felicia? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. Saying preach. Chantel Hills, good to see you. Glad that you are here. And saying exactly, I do one video, so want little edits, and I want know what I want to do with those rhythms. Yeah, to make so much sense. Yep, 100%. What is going on? Good to see you. Saying always love your content. Why, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Saying food, or that's what it's Lapif. Y'all tell me what that sounds. It sounds like somebody like them rap names like Lil Puff. It's like Lapif. Okay. I have no idea who it is. I'll take a look at their live stream setup and see if it makes sense to do a video breakdown, stream breakdown for that. But Lapif, we'll take a look. Alrighty, saying so what's your vlog channel? So Dinah.link/vlog. So that channel is a very new channel. It has some videos on it right now, but again, it's just my personal creative thing over there. So Diana.link/vlog, VLOG. Alrighty, so I don't see any questions. Saying finally found you live. Good to see you, Jasmine. Glad that you're here. So yeah, honestly, that's all I wanted to cover today. I wanted to go through that content workflow because I wanted to make sure that number one, like we're at the last, like getting close to those last 2 weeks of the year, which is weird to say because some parts felt slow this year and other parts just 3 months go by so quickly. So like everybody's getting into that thing where they're setting new goals. I don't get the New Year's resolution thing. I understand it, wanting to have a new brand new 365, but I feel like whatever it is that you were going to do eventually, you might as well do it now. That's my personal belief. You know, so if something needs to change, it's like I'm cleaning, like side rant here. The people that get me are the people that be like, I'm cleaning people out my life this year. So you let them stay at maybe an extra 6 to 8 months just so you can have that post and delete a bunch of people on Facebook. Like, that's dumb. It makes no good logical sense to me personally. Makes no good logical sense. You keep people around longer than you need to. Why? Or a situation that needed to be dealt with months ago. It's like, oh, they ain't happening in 2022. Everybody thought they was gonna have 2020 vision. Nobody saw what was coming. I don't know. It's just my thing with that. If you're gonna make and set goals for yourself, set goals. And I don't care if it's July 27th. Like, it shouldn't matter the time. I get it. And I love this season of the year and like the whole thing. But if you have goals, start them now. January 1 makes no difference. Or you could have, 2+ weeks of actually getting started on it. So now you're in it a couple weeks deep before you kick off for January. Like you'll have a full quarter to execute and not a part of the quarter to plan and figure stuff out. Like we started planning the first quarter of this next year, like in the summer. We was talking about January in the summer. So like plan your stuff out maybe a little bit better. So I wanted to cover this content workflow stuff because as you're going through and figuring out the what to do's with your content, what to do with your channel and all the things, how you do everything is how you do everything. So don't be slothful about it. Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna wait for the holidays. You know what I used to do, honestly, and then I'm gonna get off my soapbox over this one. when it came to holidays, sometimes I wouldn't spend those with families, or it'd be at the end part of the day. I worked personally, not for my old job that I used to have, but I worked for me. I would take days off, like PTO. I was like, I'm not gonna take no like 2 weeks bulk of whatever just to do nothing, and then come back to work and stuck looking at these people. Like I would just sit, and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Multiple times per week, I would either leave early for work, from work, or I would take a day during the week so that I can have a full day of doing nothing but working in my business, because it's a paid time off day and I'm doing something that's actually going to earn me money. And I knew at some point would go farther than what the job was bringing, and it worked. So it's like, I'm always like, and it became a thing. Oh, Diana leaving early. You sure right. Some of y'all too worried about what people think about you. What other people think about you is none of your business. It is none of your business. What other people think about you is none of your business. You put too much weight and thought and just to what other people think. It's none of what other people think about you is none of your business. The hell with them coworkers. Y'all just work together. Otherwise, you never probably would even be around those people. So why do you care what they think? Just saying. Saying you can't flog the vlog thing. Okay, all right. I'll put a link in the chat real quick. I keep meaning to link it to the channel, but let me do that, and then I'll answer any quick questions that y'all have. Yeah, Diana.link/vlog. VLOG. Pause for the cause. I put it in the chat. What is up, JFK Productions? Good to see you. Glad that you are here. All right, so hold on. My bad. Hold up. How did I miss these comments? Okay, so I just put it in the chat for those asking for the vlog channel. Saying that is correct. The Lapeef Network channel has really long live streams with multiple people they invite guests on from their commentary also. Okay, got you. Saying is 5:47 a.m. Wow. Okay. Don't always catch your lives. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit later today, so that's interesting. Saying hi, thanks for doing this. My pleasure. What is your recommended? I guess you mean like vlogging camera. You know what? I won't even say it depends. Like the ZV-1 is a good vlogging camera if you just want. Where is it? Or did I put it? Most of the time I have like a camera around here, but I don't know. Maybe it's over there. But most of the time it's like the ZV-1 is a good camera. It's good to do what you want to do with it. Or you could take your existing camera that you have, whatever it is, and just use it. The only thing with that is most people just don't want to, or they may want something else. So if you have your eye on something specifically, go with that. I think the ZV-1 is a dope vlogging camera just because the lens retracts. Like it retracts. Like if I take this right here, this is ZV-E10 and it's got the Sigma 16 on here. I do not want to take this out of town with me or nothing. I want to take this nowhere with the Sigma 16 on here. But a 10 to 18, yeah, because it's hella lightweight. I fell asleep with this in my hand on the airport, in the airplane and all that stuff. Not with the Sigma 16, with the 10 to 18, because it's hella lightweight. It's much smaller. But I really don't want to take this too many places, like the big old thing. The ZV-1, it collapses the lens. Like it's retractable, it's hella small, and it's easy. And it's honestly fun to use. Like I probably had the most fun taking the ZV-1 out of town when I went to San Diego. And just only taking that, live streaming with it when I was out of town. It was so much fun to use because it was not a headache to use. So I think when it comes down to vlogging, like just whatever is easiest for you to like actually do it, cool. Then if you want to do something else, you can. But that way you're not caught up in lenses and stuff like that. So I like the ZV-1, honestly, when it comes to vlogging and stuff. If I'm feeling like carrying it, like I took the ZV-E10 to travel with, that was a really fun experience too. And only the 10 to 18. So I didn't take this Sigma 16 because this lens honestly is too heavy and it's annoying. If it ain't sitting on a tripod, this lens is annoying to me. Like it's too heavy personally. So I love it, but it's just annoying to carry. It's too big. You got this, all of this stuff. And it's like, I just want to put it away in my bag. The ZV-1, put it in a pocket. I'm done with it. Like my little jacket pockets, I'm done with it. So that's what I would say for vlogging thing. But that's honestly for me, I love the thing with the retractable. So how long did it take for you to solidify your workflow? I asked because you have a team and formal training. Actually, I don't have any formal training. So I didn't go to like some film school or whatever. I hired and paid coaches along my journey, which I think most people do. And I paid for courses like I think most people do. Only thing is I actually did what the hell they was talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like it was only a couple times that I was doing stuff that my coach was saying don't do. And I'm just like, well, I'm gonna try it anyway. And then it was just like, that was kind of dumb. You didn't pay him for you to just do what you want to do. Like in that sense or whatever, like you're to be guided. So honestly, I took the same courses most people take along whatever is available during your time of your becoming a creator. Take the courses, but actually do what it is that they're talking about. Most people get a course and they won't do it. They won't show up, won't apply to what they've learned, and they'll just sit on it. So that's what I would say. Like, I don't have any formal training when it comes to that, but the way I solidified my workflow is because I was on muscle relaxers and Vicodin, and which was like taking 2 Vicodin. Y'all know that stuff is extremely strong, but I'm at work doing loans, doing work, and fine, but you know what I'm saying, essentially doped up because I was in so much pain. So once I for real got the diagnosis with the endometriosis, so I knew how to approach it, had surgery and stuff, but it went so many months, like being in really bad pain, but deciding I was going to do this anyway. My content workflow was developed based on the way I felt, because it didn't matter if I had signed up to plan or to record a video or series of videos that day, because I wouldn't feel good enough to do it. Like I physically could not do it. So what I did was, the way this content workflow thing became a thing for me personally, on days where it became this simple. Let me drink some water real quick. It became a really simple equation. If I'm stuck and I'm bedridden for a couple days, because that happens, it still happens. If I'm bedridden for a couple days, those automatically become planning days. On the days when I feel good, those are all out execution days. And it was literally just that simple. What I did in between, those were my 2 containers that I had that I could use. Either I feel good or I don't feel good. And if I feel good, then I can do something. I can actually sit up and I can, be conscious and not stutter. I don't have a stuttering problem, but I do stutter when I'm tired, I'm exhausted. One comment I get a lot is people like, you blink a lot. I'm usually very tired or I'm on very heavy medication. And so like if I'm doing that, either I really probably not drinking enough water, or I'm really, really tired because the stuff that I take makes me sleepy. But I'm pushing through it anyway. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. People been saying that for years. You blink a lot. Yeah, I do. You don't know what the hell is going on behind it. So what difference do it make? You know what I'm saying? So either if I was feeling bad, then I'm like, I can have my journal, I can have my laptop plugged up, and I have like the stuff set up on the other side of the bed. So if I'm like have an idea, start the voice recorder and I just will record it. And then I'm like, okay, so that way I know this is what I want to execute on. If I have some waking moments, because obviously I would have to get up to eat. And so like I would had to drink them Ensure shakes a lot because I couldn't, have food or whatever. And I wouldn't be able to get up or cook anything. Thankfully, DoorDash became a thing or whatever, but at the time it wasn't. So what I would do is like I have those Ensure shakes and all that stuff, like the whole left side of my bed or whatever, dresser and all that stuff. Meal replacement shakes and journals and notebooks in my computer. Bedridden days, automatic planning days. And if I couldn't do nothing, I gave myself grace about it because I'm doing what I can. If I'm at work, I'm obviously up. It was always a part of the screen that was for me. I always got YouTube video playlists, courses, something that I'm listening to. About 30 hours per week is what I would put into actually going through courses and listening and taking notes. People used to think I was taking notes for work. Like, I'm like, no. It don't have nothing to do with work. They see me with the journal. You always got that journal. It come up in meetings and they're like, what are you writing about? What are you working on? It's like, are you coming up with a new system for the company? No, this ain't got nothing to do with y'all. This ain't work related. But I have my headphones in and I'm listening. I got a playlist of videos to go through. So when I get home, reason why I had no interruptions until 6 p.m. is because I'm just coming off of enough energy from work. I'm gonna be up to eat and stuff like that. I need to at least record one video. It's an execution time block. It's not interruptible. Or I just need to sit and like get it together and then like, okay, cool. Sometimes it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning, like the way I came up with the lighting stuff. Cause sometimes most of the time I'm recording 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So if I'm blinking again, I'm tired and I'm doped up most of the time. So having lighting is only a recent thing, like with the Windows stuff being an issue, because I never was recording during the daytime. So my workflow stuff, the way I revolved around the illness, the disease. And I'm just like, whatever, screw you. I'm finna do this anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, so personally, that's how I got around it. I just was like, I'm not going to let this disease be the definition of me. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm being very, very honest, having endometriosis broke me for a time, like mentally, with the way I viewed myself. Because in my mind, you see this complete version of yourself that's like really good and all of that. But it would suck because I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not quite, you know what I'm saying? And so I got to redefine who I am with this thing. And I'm like, okay, you don't get to be the boss here. So I'll deal with you and I'm going to work around you. And I still have to do that to this day. And I don't fret about it. I make it happen. Like, was it yesterday? It was like a 18-hour day. I worked 18 hours straight because I felt good enough to do it. I worked full 18 hours straight, nonstop. My team came on, they worked, they left. I'm still on. 18 hours straight. Got a few hours sleep, got up, did what I need to do. So the thing is, it's just working around the time containers and stuff. It's not, worrying about too much stuff like that. So what's going on? Easily excellent. It's good to see you. Glad that you are here. So I'm looking at the ZV-1 or Canon G7X. I'm gonna tell you something. The Canon G7X cameras, the Mark III, and I gotta go because let me see. Let me make sure. Hold on. Let me check my calendar first. Let me make sure before I leave unnecessarily. Okay. I don't think so. All right, cool. So I got a couple more minutes. The thing is that G7X Mark III, G7X Mark II is an older camera that everybody used for a time because it was kind of like the best at that time. The camera doesn't focus that well. It never did, but for a time, it did the best from what's available. That camera is now very outdated. And yeah, you can find it for cheap, but it ain't gonna be worth the money. Honestly. The G7X Mark III, they put old insides into it and it auto-focused worse. And it's not anything to do with Canon versus Sony or none of that. It's just like performance-wise, it sucked. Overheating out the wazoo was crazy and ridiculous. Leave it alone. If you're gonna get something like that, get the ZV-1 or like the Sony SX. It was like SX 760 or something like that or whatever. Some other kind of variation of one of their point and shoots still has the flip up screen. Everything else being the same, but it doesn't have make sure it says dual pixel autofocus and you're not having those issues. That's the only thing. And the G7X Mark III does, but it just overheats. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it don't, but I know it would have issues, and the overheating over everything else was a problem. So just be careful about that, when you're looking at that. Saying vlog channel, saying I'm subscribing now. Yeah, saying I love vlog channels when they are complementary to an existing established channel. I've always enjoyed those more rather than just vlogging out the gate. I understand that. Good to see you, Charles. Glad that you're here. It's just like the thing with the vlogging channel. It's just my own creative thing that I wanted. It's like a channel that I wanted to have so that this content here can be siloed into the main meat and potatoes. And then I share the other stuff over there. So it's just like what I want to share, my experiences and whatnot. And because I wanted the parts of my experience documented personally, is some things that are memories that happened when I first quit my job that I wish I had on camera. Some things that happened in the last year, I wish I had on camera. It just didn't make sense to make that content on the channel or whatever. So now that gives me space to have that place over there. Saying hiring a quality coach can make a huge difference. It absolutely can. And making sure that you actually do what they teach you is important too. Saying, brother, endometriosis sounds scary. My cousin refuses to talk to me about her experience, she thought she was going to die. Yeah, because it develops into a whole bunch of other stuff. So when I had my surgery, it wound up becoming an emergency surgery. So definitely tell her don't wait, because I wouldn't be here. And that's not even like, oh, I could have died. No, I almost did. So you actually can, if it gets into complications. So it's like 4 stages to endometriosis. I have stage 4. So that's like all of your internals and stuff essentially get locked up with adhesions, a lot of problems with that. So I would definitely tell her, like, encourage her, don't wait on that. Like, getting the check, it's annoying, it's frustrating. And again, it pricks at who you are. You'll feel less than a woman at different times. You'll feel not complete. You'll feel broken. Like, you'll go through all those phases of that emotional state of dealing with the disease and stuff like that, or just debilitating diseases as a whole. But definitely tell her don't wait. Mine's rotted my appendix. The appendix flipped, it rotted, and it started pulling on my intestines and almost popped one of my, pulled the intestines out of the intestinal wall and almost popped it. So if one of those two go, you're dead anyway. So I was there. Like, it was like it's about as thin as a piece of hair is. That's about as much that was left on that surgical picture. That's where I was at. So definitely tell her don't wait. It is something that can cause additional complications. You can't die from it itself, but it can cause additional complications. So definitely tell her, like, she gonna need some love and support around it, because it messes with you tremendously. What's going on, Celica or something? I'm sorry. Tell me how to pronounce it. Vin, good to see you. Glad that you're here. I said, not beat yourself up over having bedridden days. 100%. Can't do anything about that. I use bad body days for research and education. Yep, 100%. Saying, wait a minute, but who counts the blinks and why? Man, I don't even know. People just be out there wilding. They're like, I can't focus because you blink a lot. And I'm like, okay, thanks for being here. Shoot. Saying this is confirming a system I recently put together. And let me tell y'all, this method works 100%. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Saying, outside of Kajabi, what tools do you use to build a content system and workflow? So everything that we do in my company is mostly based through Kajabi. So any courses that we do, free offers that we give. So like in that live stream breakdown for the Kevin Samuels dude. So for the assets for that one, all this stuff is processed through Kajabi. Email lists managed through Kajabi. Website managed through Kajabi. I've spent the money and the hassle and the frustrations dealing with a bunch of stuff. Using Kajabi made sense financially because it was way cheaper to pay for one thing versus 7 things. And like everything got to be properly linked together. One link breaking the chain, now you got to figure out how to fix the whole thing. I didn't want to do that, and I got tired of that. So I switched to Kajabi in 2018, and it's been working like a champ for me ever since. And they keep just making it better. So I started there because that helps tremendously with any workflow. I have an idea, I can execute it with Kajabi. Like, it just works. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could literally take an idea and execute it today. And it takes me no time to do that. So I love Kajabi for that. So that's huge when it comes to our workflows, because most of everything is already built into the stuff that we can do there. Landing pages, email lists, segmentations, all that stuff. The other thing that, like for my ideas, I'm really simple when it comes to that stuff. I use Apple Notes because I can be on my phone. I can leave an audio message through the Apple Note thing and have it on my phone, on my watch, on the computer at any given time. So that helps with that, not having to search or hunt for stuff. I use the Google Workspace, so Google Docs and stuff, and Google Sheets. Like, I'm real simple when it comes to those things. Anything that we can do, we templatize it. Once we find an efficient system, and that's how my brain works, is in efficiencies. And I'll ask my team, what are we doing that's not working, or it's like a waste of time, or how's that working? And if they say something is a problem, so when I first started building a team and I hired them, they was like, the time system that we were using to track times and stuff like that for them to work, to get paid, they're like, this ain't working, it keep crashing. I'm like, what do y'all suggest? They're like, can we try this one? We've had experience with using whatever. They was like, yeah, I like that. I was like, cool, let's try it. We tried it. It doesn't work for me as an employer. So I'm like, okay, we're not gonna use that one. Now we use Time Doctor. So that's what we use in our company for that. And that's a system that works well. And I'll ask them for their input. How is this working out? How is it, is it interrupting the work, or is it just allowing you to do your thing? And like, yeah, can we do our thing? It's no problem. Good. Solved. Let's put a SOP to that. Standard operating procedure. Here's how you do X. So we'll come up with the best system possible when it comes to the ideas for a thing, for anything. We'll test it and try it. I'll get their feedback on how it's working, or I'll even look if it's something for me to do. How is this working? What do I like or not like about a thing? And then make refinements. And once we have a good one, we put an SOP to it. It's a standard operating procedure on how to do that specifically. We use Asana for any of our work management and workflow. And we set out work based on weeks. So that's the whole thing. But we'll do that, and we use Asana for that because it's helpful to know who's doing what, who are we waiting on to do this, how long has it been, when was this due, comms and all that stuff. And just for regular company communications, we use Slack. So I try to keep stuff very simple so it's not a bunch of things to remember or do or whatever. And then for social media, we use Dropbox, and we use Later. So the way that our system works for that, for like producing our micro pieces of content, scheduling, reviewing, all that stuff, everything has a system to it. Everything has a system. It's called Content Flight Path that we do in my company. It's just an internal thing that I created. So a content flight path is, what does it take for this to take off? What does it take for this to get done? From a micro content piece to a regular YouTube video or whatever, what are all the steps and the things that need to go into that? That's what we call our content flight path. So who's supposed to do it? What's the time frame on it? Everything has a system. Everything. We just don't overcomplicate stuff. Sometimes you can systematize things, and now you've created such a strict system on how to do something, nobody knows and can remember it. So if I'm creating a system, it needs to be easy enough for us to do, easy enough for us to execute, and easy enough for us to teach. That's like my requirement. And it cannot get in the way of doing something. And if my team says something ain't working, even if I like it, I still take their input and I'll ask them, like, what's not working about this, or what's frustrating about it, or like, just be upfront. They're like, well, okay, so like, look, I don't really like with it. And it's like, okay, it's like, so why don't we try this? It's like, okay, reports, maybe the reporting side of things, I like it. And they're like, hey, maybe you like it, but it ain't working for us. Like, it's getting in the way, or it's like, okay, but that don't happen a lot. But if something comes up, I want to know, so it's like, if you got a better idea, let's try it. Let's, see who is it going to impact, right? So everybody's work always impacts somebody else. But the thing, when it's you by yourself, I can never hire a team until I had efficiencies and things set up for me. Meaning I know the steps, and I know the process of how to do something. And if it is efficient and it's duplicatable, it's duplicatable. If it's not something that's easy enough, I think it was like Napoleon Hill would say, if it's not something that's easy enough for you to teach like an 8-year-old, it's not easy enough for you to teach an adult. Like, it's too many things too many steps. So you like frustrating your people. So that's the thing I would say, like, for like content and workflow and stuff. That's all the stuff that we use, but it just depends. I'm not trying to add anything else to it or whatever. And we'll test stuff. We will never that's one thing, we'll never interrupt the way something actually is working just to test something else. So I wanted to test a couple other system tools for social media scheduling to see, is there something better than Later for our micro content production and the way that we have the system set up? Is there something that can make things more efficient? And I will let them know, I'm testing this right now. If I don't feel like I'm getting good tests, and I'll give them the login so that they can go and try and play around with it if they want to, and see what they think about it. And if they don't like it, or if they like some things about it, but it's not, it's like, what now? Is it worth the trade-off? And the honest answer has been no most of the time. We've tried like 2 or 3 other things, and it's just like, I don't like it, or it's not working, or, it's kind of cool. It's like, okay, it's not worth interrupting the current system. Let's leave it alone. And it's only like a 1 or 2 week process, and maybe try it for a month or something. It's like, I'll test it and try it. And then you can test it and try it, and we'll run it through with a couple pieces and see how it does. And if we don't like it, we won't use it. So, that's the thing. But your systems that you're doing for you have to make sense in order for you to teach it to somebody. Because most of the time what I'll hear from people that are that I'm interviewing that want to be like, they want to hire an editor, their editors are complaining, or the people that want it, because they just say, oh, I want my videos to look like this person's. You have no idea how they produce that content. So you can't and the way you record and produce is totally different. It ain't good enough to do that. It don't work. So they no, it ain't working. So you know what I'm saying? You can't just point at somebody else's video that you like and just be like, I want it to look like that, sound like that, and operate like that. And they no, can't do it. Unless you record like that, ain't gonna happen. So, that's what I would say to that. Can bet it focuses better than the Panasonic? Not always. That one thing I can say, not always. Saying calendar, question, what calendar solution do you like for setting up interviews? We use Calendly. Calendly is what we use for scheduling that stuff. Even that has a system. And the communications and all that stuff is systematized and made to be efficient. Excuse me. And not just for us, but to make sure when I show up to somebody's show, I know exactly what we're going to talk about. I know their audience, their target audience and stuff that's important to that audience, so that when I'm giving examples, everything is curated for those people. It ain't just I'm showing up I'm the boss sauce, Bees Knees Hall of Fame. Welcome me with open arms. No, we've had some research done to make sure I can bring it for those people in their space with examples that make sense to the things that they deal with. Ask specific questions and things like that. So, but we use Calendly for our calendar system when it comes to scheduling and setting that stuff up or whatever. JFK Production, you funny with that Panasonic comment though. Matt saying your video last week on camera settings was great. Have used my learnings and set my camera up. Thanks. You know what? Kudos to you, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, 100%. Saying she had surgeries, but I think something like that rocks a person. That's, again, you, for that, speaking to the endometriosis thing, you gotta have good people around you that can speak life into you. If when you say you don't feel well and they say, I'm so sorry to hear that, versus can build you up. If you are around people that aren't life-giving to the things that you're dealing with, they don't understand, they don't have the empathy around it or can encourage you. Or if you say, man, I'm never gonna be able to do nothing. If they don't say yeah, you right. If they say, yeah, you right, man, it's gonna be tough. If that's their response, you're not helping. She gonna need people around her that's gonna say you can do it, or let's see what makes possible. And then see, is she looking at that point for encouragement, or is she looking for solutions? So, you know what I'm saying? It's at that point, it's really having good people around you, but you really have to rebuild yourself up on the inside. It will rock and shake you 100%. You will not feel complete. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, she needs to get on some personal development regiment stuff, not just the listening to it. And obviously you will not feel, when you're going through stuff like that personally, when you're hearing good things, it sounds like you're listening to it through a brick wall. It's not connecting. So what you need is if she don't follow any YouTube channels, or maybe women that share their journey around that kind of thing or whatever, and talking about their experiences or whatever, something she need community at that point. And she got to work on herself on the inside though. It's got to be something that she wants to do though. First thing, what was it things that settle in your heart on the inside comes through your ears, right? It comes through your ears first. The things you hear fastest come out of your mouth to your ears. So if she ain't saying the right stuff though too, that's why you need what's going in on the inside to be feeding the situation, feeding her mentally. So when it comes out of her mouth and right back around to her ears, it's just a good feeding cycle from the brain, from the mouth to the ears. And it's just a good feeding cycle of good stuff. She ain't always going to feel great, but at some point, like, you need that personal development so you can start speaking the right words. It's some books that I could recommend that are good and stuff like that, but audiobooks may be the thing. Stop listening to the radio and Lil Jock and whoever. I don't even know. That guy's probably not even relevant anymore. It just let you know I know nothing about nothing with music now, but like, go stop listening to whatever in the car. Listen to a gosh darn book, like a good book or whatever. Audible, go to, what is it, like Diana.link /Audible. Get you a free book. Get you a free audiobook and listen to somebody. It's good actual works by women that go through a tremendous, but like, listen to some encouraging things. YouTube have books on the platform, but listen to some stuff that's going to build you up. And sometimes, like when it comes to work, is stop talking and having lunch with these people. It's not like people at work are always toxic, but there are some people that's worth not having lunch with because they're saying things and you be like, oh, you don't feel good today? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, it sucks. I know. You're not helping, Susan. It does suck. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear like, it's going to be okay. Like, you got this. You're going to get through this thing. And before, you may not believe it now, you're going to get through this thing. And before you know it, you'll be on a whole other level. Keep doing what you're doing. I remember this one lady, Miss Deborah specifically. It was 2 Miss Deborahs at my job. Every time I'd say something, like, be in a weak state of mind, they saying something to be encouraging and strength, and you don't believe it at the moment, but you just need to hear it. Your subconscious mind don't ever turn off. So if you're saying the wrong things constantly, your brain is still constantly hearing the wrong things, and your subconscious mind don't know anything other than yes. So if you're always feeding it something wrong, it's just going to say, yeah, we do suck. We do. Like, your subconscious mind never turns off. It only knows to do what you're telling it to do, which is it's going to say yes. So in that sense, like, so one thing my mentor, when I was like in my 20s, he was like, get one of them what do you call it? Pillow speakers. Record affirmations in your voice on there, on like your phone or whatever. It could be a little CD player, who knows? Like, record affirmations in your voice, put a speaker pillow. So when you go to sleep, like, just enough for you to hear it, but not to be distracted by it or not be able to go to sleep. Always have that playing when you go to sleep. So I would listen to stuff constantly for years. My alarm wasn't an actual alarm. It started with the 10 Attitudes of Leadership by Miles Monroe. And that's what I would listen to when I would wake up in the morning. That was the alarm. It would continue playing through the 10 Attitudes of Leadership Development until I got to work. And then it's probably on repeat a couple times. And then I'm going through the playlist of content for me to listen to that day. So you got to change your regimen of what's going in your mind and stuff like that. That's going to dictate everything of how you do anything. So it's like, and the 10 Attitudes of Leadership Development by Miles Monroe is free on YouTube. It's free. You know, so it's like, I would just listen to that constantly for years. 10 Attitudes of Leadership Development by Miles Monroe. That was my alarm for years. So, yeah. So why does it sound like we have a similar workflow? Ecamm, Final Cut, Sony, Rodecaster Pro, Shure, G Suite. 100% is what I use. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'll need to look into Kajabi. Do you have an affiliate? Yes, Diana.link /Kajabi. Let me see here. Let me pull that up. I love Kajabi 110%. It's like a 30-day free trial for this as well. So if you want to grab Kajabi, you can. But I love it. I love everything about it. Okay, so what program do you use for your lives? Like this one with the music and the sound effects. Everything of what I'm doing today is on Ecamm behind the scenes thing. And so everything that I do is with Ecamm. The Loop Deck has really made stuff more efficient. Like, so this is a piece of tech that I'm gonna be talking about, but like I have all these different things over here. So for my Buy Me a Coffee people, the vlog channel stuff that I want to do, well, I'm writing my book and I want to, do those live streams, interviews, all that stuff is done with Ecamm. The pre-stream countdown, all that stuff is here. Any music overlays, even like anything is here through Ecamm. I bring the comments up over here. So when you asked, I just click there. It brings it up on the screen. I could do a lot of stuff here. The music, like the So the Wheel of Wonder music that everybody loves, this tune, y'all are so goofy. This is usually when I'm doing a giveaways on the channel, and we play the Wheel of Wonder. This is the song that everybody goes bananas over because it's time for the giveaway on the channel. And they know they like, is that the Wheel of Wonder music? Like, is it time? And they get themselves ready to cheat. So the Wheel of Wonder has me question some of y'all belief systems because y'all don't be treating folks right. Yeah, because y'all cheat. Every time it's time for the Wheel of Wonder, y'all cheat. Y'all need to do better. Like, but that's what I use when I'm doing my live streams. Okay, final questions, rapid fire here. Saying thank you, you're most welcome, Jasmine. Saying, okay, this information is golden. Thank you. And I'm curious, okay, what this LOL is about. Saying, when setting appointments, do you have a questionnaire for a discovery call? No, because they are a waste of time. Honestly, I go through a process, like my process when it comes to coaching clients, either somebody like the 30-minute or 60-minute sessions. Those time slots are for people to like see my calendar, my available calendar and times, and go schedule a 30-minute or 60-minute consultation. I don't need to know your whole life story for that because you usually have a singular problem or multiple problems that you want to go through for that time frame. And then at that point, cool. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so those are fine. When it comes to me taking on an actual coaching client, I do not do discover calls because you're talking to them and you for an hour and you basically like trying to sell them, I guess, or whatever. I don't do that. My process when I'm taking on like evaluating, if somebody says they want to hire me for like long-term coaching or whatever, like it will be a form on the website. It's something like we're working on now so that they can go through and like apply for coaching. But I'm not just taking anybody for that because that's 9 1-hour sessions where we're specifically diving in. So by the time we get to those end of those 9 sessions, you have that deliverable that you wanted by the time we get to the end. And then sometimes, depending on what their goals are, they'll rehire me again and we'll go through another set of 9 sessions. But like when it comes to that, I don't do discovery calls. This is a waste of time. I want to get to helping the person. Most of the time, people probably already know that they want to work with me and my library of content speaks for my body of work. So they already can get a gist of the things that I could teach or talk about or whatever it is. And we start a conversation via email. And through that conversation through email, I pretty much can evaluate if this is somebody that's ready to go to next steps with coaching. And sometimes people will schedule a 30-minute session because that's what they want to do, address an issue. And they'll take a portion of that call and want to ask about regular coaching. Like, how do I sign up for a coaching package? I got just to talk to that person through that one. So now we good. But most of the time, it don't require like discovery like sessions or nothing like that. As far as I'm concerned, saying what's a radio? Whatever. I said managing your systems and being patient, so patient and productive is clear that you are doing the work and it's clear that you prioritize self-care. Hell, it made me have to. If I didn't already, it made me have to. That's the one thing. It's like that self-care stuff. It's an automatic. You got health issues or whatever. Said not little jock, or what little jock, young jock, whatever his name. This is it, right? Going through chronic pain and health issues right now ain't no joke. 100%. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. See, David excited Wheel of Wonder music. No, not doing the Wheel of Wonder right now. See, all of this, y'all are tripping. Not get themselves ready to cheat. Y'all do. You do. 100%. Y'all cheat. When y'all hear that Wheel of Wonder music, it sparks something on the inside of y'all that is not good. Okay, that's all I know. So one of my main focuses is health and wealth. Health as wealth. So I have lots of free channels that I consume for input, interested in levels of production. So no background noise, like celebrity gossip. 100%. Like, that's the thing. It's like, at the end of the day, you need good things to feed you. Good pieces of content that's going to feed you, to help you to execute on doing what you need to do. When it comes to that stuff, like I said, health issues ain't no joke. At some point, I guess past 30, ibuprofen is a regular recurring word in your home. And Alexa for sure knows it. It's like, would you like to order? Yeah, just go and place the order. Shut up. It's like, you already know it's time for it. But hope you all got some value out of today's stream. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of the replay if you're watching that. But that's where I'm going to leave it for this week's Friday Live Helpcast. And if you have questions afterwards, put those down in the chat. Be happy to assist. And with that, guys, with passion, I'll see you on the next video.